Great to have you back for another Brain Blast. Now, these Brain Blasts, as I work through them each time, I start to find myself needing to not so much repeat things, but to incorporate things and then extrapolate a bit more again. And I think we've mentioned before about talking to the hemispheres. And a really great way when you're looking after kids and when you're talking to people who are close to you is to understand that you need to talk to the hemisphere that they're operating from. And the reason why we say talk to the hemispheres is, I know there's lots of stuff about right and left hemispheres, but it's really about the concept, the conceptual framework in which they operate. And the right hemisphere is much more overall, conceptual, generalized, emotional, certainly the negative emotions or the distressed emotions, whereas the left side is more detailed and specific and wanting answers and looking for actual protocols and what's going on. And the idea of talking to the hemispheres when you're working particularly with children, but certainly with partners, with workmates, with everybody out there, is that you talk to their hemisphere that they're in. Now, what ideally happens in the brain is we get right hemisphere things going on, conceptual stuff, principles, the overall idea. Then we transfer the energy over to the left side that creates specific aspects and specific actions and details about that, which then when they work, the left sides work that out, they pass it back to the right side and they extrapolate it out with imagination and curiosity and wonder, and then back to the left side to give detailed, again with curiosity and wonder, but more details on how to do stuff. Now, people who get stuck in the left side are all stuck in details and never sort of expand beyond what they've learnt or what they know. And people who are getting stuck in the right side are sort of always wandering off and disappearing and getting strange ideas and suggesting stuff that's just impractical or not practical at the time. And it's not about that one's a good and one's a bad. What they do is they act together in a flow. And that's what makes the beautiful functioning of the brain. They're actually designed to resist each other, to not sort of flow together. They flow in concert to support each other. And so this idea of talking to the hemispheres, if somebody comes up and goes, I'm just sick of this and I'm not going to do it anymore and I hate the way this computer works or whatever it is. The idea is not to sit there and say, oh, here, I'll tell you how it works. What it is you have to press this button and that button. You've got to tiddle that and turn that and put that dial. They're just going to sit there and go, oh, I can't do it. That's too hard for me. They're going to stay in that right side, and they're actually now going to get pushed into that right-sided activity because their left side is just not ready to take it on. It's not on. It's sort of resting, waiting for things to settle in the right side to do this flow. So you need to go, wow, I can see that this computer stuff really is upsetting you. It's upsetting and annoying. Gosh, maybe you go into an anecdote to create some rapport. Yes, I remember that I had one little while ago and I'd done all this work and it just disappeared. I couldn't even think for a day. Ah, dear. Now tell me a little bit more about what the problem is. Now, if the other person continues in an emotional vein, then you continue in a calming and engaging frame. But they fairly rapidly see that you're in tune with them. And then you prime them to say, now let's see if we can work out a few details about this. Tell me a bit more about the specifics. And they'll start to go, oh, well, what it was I was doing this thing and then I pressed that button. And of course, if you say, what do you mean you pressed that button? What an idiot thing to do. Then, of course, they're going to be better. Oh, well, all that. So when you're dealing with the left side, don't get angry and frustrated and cranky with someone. That's the time to be in the detail and be in the process. This is so important with kids. I mean, I actually just heard a kid before as I was setting up to do this session. And there was a little kid and he was saying, Mummy, I've fallen over. Trying to get Mum's attention. There's a little courtyard at the front here. And I'm listening, I'm thinking, now that's a left side. That's a left side call. You're not upset. You're not going, Mommy, I fall, I'm over. It wasn't that pained sort of experience. He was actually trying to get his mum's attention because there was some things he needed to have done. And what she needed to do was actually, I don't know what she did, but the best approach was not to go over there and go, oh, poor little baby, you've fallen over, oh, this is dreadful. Because that would be the wrong hemisphere. And the kid would sort of say, yeah, Mum, yeah, I know I've fallen over, but I'm over all that. It would be, I need to do this, or I need to, whatever it was that he was, that was concerning him, what details were concerning him. And this is so much of a thing in work and in the office, in the workspace. People are coming up saying, I don't know how this works. I'm sick of the way this is dreadful. I can't stand the way that I'm forced to do all this hard work. Now, there's this feeling of that they're talking about details, but they're not. It's the emotion behind. There's emotion behind the details. And what you need to do is you go, wow, you must be really finding this work hard and it's really difficult. How are you going? And remember we talked about the 9 voices? How's your sleep? Look, I'm just noticing your skin. You're looking a little bit baggy under the eyes and your skin. You okay? Do you need some extra help? What can I do? That sort of aspect. But if someone comes up and says, I'm sick of this. This isn't working. I've been trying this thing. It goes this way and this way and this way. I think it should go that way and that way. Now, okay, they're a little energetic, a little terse perhaps, but you can hear that it's about details. It's about the way things to be done. And they don't want the other person to say, listen, just pull your head in, stop getting emotional about this and go back and do it. You need to listen and say, okay, there's some interesting ideas there. Let's have a quick look at whether those ideas are functional. Or perhaps you say, I know you've got some good ideas there, but we haven't got time for that. Let's just do it the best we can in this process, and then next time, let's sit down and review it and see if we can improve the process. Same thing goes at school. Sometimes kids are asking for the answers. Sometimes kids are expressing their emotions and frustrations and disturbances. And sometimes a teacher should be sitting there saying, no, that's not right. This is the steps that you take, or this is the information you use. Sometimes they should be sitting there saying, wow, you're having a really bad day. I can see that. We all have bad days. Let's just take 2 or 3 breaths and let's see if we can just calm down a little bit. And then we get back into the process. And sometimes a teacher needs to say to themselves, wow, I'm upsetting these kids. I wonder if I'm upsetting them. What am I doing here that's not helping them discover the answers in the best ways? So talking to the hemispheres, talking to the state, is it an emotional state, or is it a state of generalized, of concept, of just an overall sort of non-specific sort of thing? Then you need to be in that overall non-specific and understanding sort of stage of communication. On the other side, if they're detailed and specific, then you need to start there. Sometimes the detailed and specific person is doing that because they're not dealing with their emotional or conceptual or imaginary side. And they're stuck. And you need to say, okay, these are the details. Now, we're getting to, oh, just a minute. I wonder how else we would do this. So what am I using to shift them from that left side detail into the creative side of the right side? Curiosity. I wonder, is there an alternative? What else is there? And we'll be doing a brain blast coming up in a little while, all about a fabulous thing that emerged out of a process I was doing with one of the clients. That he just loves it, and I'm going to put it to you. But for now, look to the different things. Specific, detailed, overall, general, conceptual, imaginative, and sometimes emotional, more the negative emotions, more the positive emotions. That's your left, right conversation. Just extrapolate it a little bit more again, out of the child work, into the school work, into the relation work, into the workplace. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our brain blast for today. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.